Your wiper blades are streaking, chattering, and smearing across the glass every time it rains. And you're about to drop 30 bucks on a new set. Before you do, there's a trick that makes your current blades wipe like new again. Here's what nobody tells you. Almost everyone reaches for the wrong product to do it. The regular blue and yellow can, and that exact can is what destroys your blades. There's a specific version you need instead. The advice everywhere is grab some WD-40 and wipe your blades down. But WD-40 isn't a single product, it's a brand, and they make several very different cans. The classic one everyone has is a penetrant, a water displacer. It's brilliant for freeing rusted bolts, but it's petroleum-based, and on rubber it does the exact opposite of what you want. It's a solvent, so it gets in, does its job, and evaporates, taking moisture with it and leaving your rubber dried out. That's why your blades start cracking and splitting within weeks. People try to save their wipers with it and end up killing them faster than if they'd done nothing. The one you actually want is called WD-40 Specialist Silicone, and it works the opposite way. Silicone is safe on rubber, and instead of evaporating and taking moisture away, it dries into a thin, clear film that stays behind. That film protects the rubber, repels water, and keeps the blade gliding for weeks, not minutes. Same brand, completely opposite result on your wipers. So let me show you exactly how to use it. Let's actually do it. Step 1. Clean the blades before you treat them. Most of the time, streaking wipers aren't worn out at all. They're just filthy. A film of road grime, wax, and pollution builds up on the rubber edge, and that film is what's smearing across your glass. So, before anything else, lift the wiper arm off the glass. Take a clean rag or paper towel with a little soapy water or washer fluid, and firmly wipe the full length of the rubber edge. Pull the rag along the blade several times. You will be shocked how much black gunk comes off. A lot of people stop right here because once the blade is actually clean, half the streaking is already gone. Here's why. Streaking happens when the rubber edge can't make smooth, even contact with the glass. A hardened crust of grime breaks that contact into skips and smears. Every bit of black you pull off is a spot that was skipping before. Do both blades top to bottom and really work the edge, not just the flat sides. The thin wiping edge at the very bottom is the part that touches the glass, and it's the part that matters most. Step 2. Let the blade dry, then grab the right can. Once the rubber is clean, give it a minute to dry. You want the silicone going onto a clean, dry surface, not sealing dirt underneath it. Now pick up your WD-40 Specialist Silicone, not the original. Check the can. The silicone one says silicone right on the front. This is the single most important step in the whole video, because getting this one wrong is what turns a fix into damage. You'll find it at any auto parts store or online, usually around $8 for a can that'll treat your blades dozens of times. And it's not a single-use product either. That same can of silicone is genuinely useful on your rubber door seals to stop them freezing shut, on sticky window tracks, and on squeaky rubber bushings, all the places the original penetrant would slowly wreck. So it earns its spot in the garage well beyond your wipers. Step 3, and this is the trick that protects your paint and your glass. Spray the silicone onto the rag, never directly onto the blade. Spraying straight onto the wiper sends overspray all over your windshield and your paint, and it makes it way too easy to soak the blade. Instead, spray a good amount onto a clean, soft cloth, enough that it's damp and can transfer to the rubber. Then, with the wiper arm still lifted off the glass, wipe the silicone-dampened rag firmly down the full length of the rubber edge a few times. You're transferring a thin, even layer, not drowning it. There are 2 reasons this rag method matters. First, overspray from silicone on your windshield glass can actually cause smearing until it wears off, so you don't want it misted all over the glass you're about to look through. Second, spraying the rag gives you control. You decide how much rubber gets coated and how evenly, instead of blasting one spot soaking wet and missing another. Slow and controlled beats fast and messy every time here. Step 4. Wipe off the excess and don't overdo it. This is where people go wrong in the other direction. Too much silicone and your wipers will smear like crazy on the first rain because there's a slick film sitting on top. So after you've coated the edge, take a clean, dry part of the rag and lightly wipe the blade once more to take off any excess. You want the silicone worked into the rubber, not pooled on it. A thin, even film is the goal. Here's the mechanism behind the smear because it's worth understanding. A wiper works by dragging a clean rubber edge flat across the glass. If there's a thick, slippery layer of silicone sitting on top of that edge, the blade skates instead of wipes. It leaves a greasy film that catches the light and blurs your view. A thin film worked into the rubber lubricates and protects. A thick film on top ruins the wipe. That's the whole difference, and it's why this wipe-off step is not optional. Then lower the arm back down gently onto the glass, being careful not to let it snap down and chip your windshield. Step 5. Do the same to your windshield if you want the full effect. Here's a bonus most people miss. That same silicone repels water, so a lot of owners use a proper glass treatment on the windshield itself at the same time. When the glass sheds water and the blade glides clean, they work together. Less streaking, less chattering, and better visibility in a downpour. A clean windshield matters more than people think too. The same grime that builds up on your blade builds up on your glass, and a waxy or dirty windshield makes even a perfect blade chatter and skip. So give the glass itself a proper clean. And if you want, a water-repelling treatment. Clean blade, protected blade, clean water-repelling glass. That's the full combination that makes old wipers feel genuinely new again. And it's the part most people skip. And don't forget your rear wiper if your Ford has one. It gets neglected even more than the fronts, and it responds to the exact same treatment. Once you've done everything, mist the windshield with a little washer fluid, and run the wipers a few times to spread the silicone evenly and check your work. The first couple of passes might feel slightly slick. That's normal. And it settles into a clean, quiet wipe within a wet minute or two. It also helps to know why blades wear out in the first place, because it explains why the silicone helps so much. Your wipers live outside, fully exposed all day. Sun, heat, ozone, road salt, and grime all attack the rubber, drying it out and hardening the edge until it can't flex flat against the glass anymore. That's what turns a smooth wipe into a chattering, streaking mess. The silicone film fights exactly that. It keeps moisture in the rubber and shields it from the elements, so the edge stays soft and flexible longer. You're not just cleaning the blade, you're slowing down the thing that kills it. Before we get to the honest limits, let me save you from the 3 ways people mess this up, because avoiding them is half the battle. Mistake 1. Grabbing the original can instead of the silicone. We've covered that, but it's still the #1 error by far. Mistake 2. Using way too much, which coats the glass and smears for days until it wears off. Mistake 3. Treating blades that are already shredded and expecting a miracle. Get the right can, use a thin layer, and start with blades that still have life in them. And this works almost every time. Now, here's the honest limit, because I'm not going to sell you a miracle. This trick cleans, protects, and revives blades that are still in decent shape. What it cannot do is repair rubber that's already torn, cracked, or missing chunks. If your blade edge is split, hardened, or physically coming apart, no spray on earth brings that back. And you need new blades, full stop. Think of the silicone as maintenance and restoration for good rubber, not resurrection for dead rubber. Used on blades that are just dirty and a little tired, it's fantastic. Used on blades that are physically destroyed, it's lipstick on a problem. So, how do you tell the difference? Run your fingertip gently down the rubber edge. If it feels smooth and flexible and just looks dirty, this trick is going to wake it right up. If you feel nicks, tears, hard, brittle spots, or the edge is rounded off and shredded, that blade is done. The silicone is just buying you a few days at most. Be honest with what you're feeling, because your wipers are a safety item. Clear glass in a storm is not the place to cut corners. And here's why this is worth doing, even though blades are cheap. It's not really about the $30, though saving that is nice. A fresh coat of silicone every month or two keeps a good set of blades supple and streak-free for far longer than they'd last dried out and neglected. You're not just reviving them once, you're extending their whole life. And you're getting better visibility every single drive in between. How often should you do it? Once a month, or any time you notice the wipe getting less clean, is plenty. It takes about 2 minutes once you've done it once. And because a good silicone spray keeps its place instead of washing off in the first storm, one application genuinely lasts, unlike the original penetrant that's gone after a few rainfalls. $8 of silicone treats your blades many, many times over. That's the real value, cleaner wipes and blades that last, for pennies each time. And there's a safety payoff that's easy to overlook. A clean, well-treated blade clears water in one smooth pass, which means you actually see the road in heavy rain. At night, in the spray off a truck on the highway. Streaky, chattering wipers aren't just annoying, they're a visibility problem exactly when visibility matters most. 2 minutes and $8 buys you a clearer, safer windshield, not just a quieter one. If this saved you a set of wiper blades, do me a favor and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me how old your current blades are.